We're starting off with these are the materials for class number 4, and we're going to take a bit of a detour. We're no longer going to be discussing particular commands. We're not going to be dealing with entities and objects as much as we are the settings that we will use with those entities and objects. So we should all know the drill by now. Select templates. If it'll let me select templates, it's being persnickety. There we go. acad.dwt. Let it open. All right, we know it, we love it. UN at the command prompt, push return. You can see it in I guess stuff behind the scenes is still trying to catch up right now. There we go. And we're going to change our length to architectural, and we're going to change our precision to 1/32. There's a reason that we're going to add a little precision here. Let's go ahead and change our precision in decimal degrees. Let's increase that just a little bit. I don't know if we're going to end up using it, but it's a good default setting to have as well. We'll click OK. All right. One of the first things we're going to do that's a little bit different is we're going to manipulate text styles. If I type ST at the command prompt, we're familiar with creating text in a program like Word or a program like Illustrator or something like that, where you start placing text and you select what text font you want to use and what size you want that font to be, usually in points. AutoCAD doesn't work with the points in terms of its size. We have to specify a real-world unit, and we have to assign a placeholder style for us to work with. Think of it as we're putting the Christmas paper around the package, and the package is the font. The Christmas paper is the AutoCAD style. So the AutoCAD style actually contains the information that we use for the font. And what I'm going to do right now is this standard text style. I'm going to change this. There we go. We're going to change this down to txt.shx. It is nasty looking. No two ways about it. But you know what? We're not going to be using this text style. And one of the things I like doing to keep track of information in my drawings is I like using visual cues that reinforce the information that I'm trying to put forth. So if this is a really nasty, ugly text style on a style I'm not supposed to use, if I see this text, I know I'm doing something wrong. I'm now going to click up on annotative. Oh, do I want to save my changes? Yes, I want to save my changes. It's a good thing that AutoCAD likes being helpful right there. All I'm going to do right here is annotative is a little nebulous to me. It's not definitive enough. Well, if you only have 2 text styles, it makes sense. But right now, I'm using the Arial font, and it is annotative, which is helpful. We'll get into what annotative text means a little bit later. But right now, you notice it has a text height associated with it. When that text height is 0, I want to hard code that text height in, and I want that to be 3/32. But I also want this text style to be something other than annotative, especially as I'm going to have more than one annotative style. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to say rename, and my text style name is going to match the font that I'm using. It's a pretty easy thing to remember. My Arial text style is matching my Arial font. And I can make it bold or italic or anything like that I want to, so that's fine. I'm done with that, and I want to make another one. So I'm going to click New, and I'm going to call this one Arial Narrow. And there's actually a Windows font. I do need to point this out. Arial Narrow took all of its default values from the text style that we had highlighted when we clicked on the New button. I'll show you an example of this here in just a minute. We'll see it pan through. And I'm going to change Arial down to Arial Narrow. Not everybody actually has this font installed. My virtual machine did not have Arial Narrow installed, so I actually had to grab the font family off of another computer. I can take that and put it in a zip file, and I can stick it up in resources on Blackboard. So we'll do that. Arial narrow, I'm going to leave it at regular. I'm going to leave the text height the same, all that good stuff. Now, if you don't have Arial narrow, and you're watching this somewhere other than the university that I'm teaching, you can leave this as Arial, and the only thing that you really need to do is change its width factor to 0.75. It's pretty much the same thing. It's not exactly close, but it's pretty much the same thing. But I will take this back to Arial narrow because I've got the font available, so I'm going to use it. I will click apply to set these changes. This way, when I come by and click another button or I click another text style, I'm not going to be prompted, hey, do you want to save your changes? Well, I already saved the changes. So I'm going to highlight Arial narrow. I'll come over here and I'll click new. This one I'm going to call times. And click OK. Now you notice all the settings I had here. Arial narrow, it's a regular font style, it's annotated 3/32, width factor is 0, obliquing of 0. Obliquing, by the way, all that is it sets the angle that you italicize with. Backwards we don't deal with a whole lot. You can do it that way, and you could even specify the font to be upside down. There are other commands that will allow you to do this. 99 times out of 100, you're not going to want to draw your text either upside down or backwards. I'm just saying, it's just a thing. So this text style is called times. In my fonts, I'm going to highlight that, and instead of scrolling all the way down, I'm just going to type T on my keyboard, and it brings me to the T section, and I'm going to highlight Times New Roman. You all should have it. It is a Windows standard font. So here we go. There's Times New Roman. I'm done with this. I'll click apply. And I'm going to come over here one more time and I'm going to click new. And this one I'm going to call Arial Bold. So you can see how these things change a little bit. Select my font. I'm coming back up. And I'm going to select Arial. But this time I will come over here, instead of the font style being regular, the font style is going to be bold. And that's it. That is it. Okay, so we have just created all these various all these font styles, or a text style that we're going to be using in this drawing. And what we're going to do with this information we're going to save it in a way where we can use it as the basis, as a template for all of our future drawings. So this process that we just went through, we're not going to have to do again ever. Well, unless you got something wrong, in which case you go back and watch the video and there you are. I highlighted my Arial text style. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say set current because I want this to be the current text style, and I'm going to close. So we've just got done creating all of our text styles. And now on to the next segment.